Good afternoon, evening, wherever you are, Flames fans. Welcome to Flames Unfiltered. I am one of your co-hosts, Kyle Lewis, alongside Brad Burud. Brad, how the hell are you?
Good. Back from Florida. On a little family vacation in the Tampa St. Pete area and survived the garbage weather down there, although we did get a couple decent days. And you know what? It didn't matter. We made the best of it. And I'm back.
Feeling recharged, ready for the holidays. Nice job with the graphics, by the way. Very festive.
Well, hey, I don't know. Is it just me, or is this year? It doesn't seem like maybe it's because I was in southern Florida where there's going to have a lot of Christmas trees to decorate. But yeah, it was pretty pathetic as far as Christmas decorations down there. And we don't have any snow here. So
we have none either. Not a bit. Very cold weather, but no snow.
We're warm. We're like record temperatures too. So it's like, not the most Christmassy festive thing. So that shit, I better have the show be somewhat festive. So
yeah, very nicely done. Very impressed.
You know what I saw in Florida that I had to check all. There's not a lot of hockey down in Florida, obviously. I saw a few Tampa Bay Lightning things, which since I was in Tampa was expected. I saw 0 Florida Panthers things. I saw a Boston Bruins t-shirt or sweatshirt. I can't remember what it was. And I'm on the beach and I'm walking. We just went out for a walk on the beach at sunset. And I look off in the distance and my wife says to me, "That guy has a Flames jersey on."
Really?
And I'm like, "What?" And so I look way off in the distance and I see a Flames jersey. A guy is wearing a jersey on the beach. And he turns around to walk away and it's number 72. And I know you're a numbers guy. So I start walking after this guy. And I lose him a little ways down. He went up into this bar and I lost him. Never saw him again. But he had a Calgary Flames 72. So I went back later. We were in the hotel room, pull up Hockey Reference, go to the Flames, go to the history of jersey numbers for the Flames. Not one guy has ever wore 72 in Calgary.
I didn't think so. That didn't add up to me at all. And I mean, not that I would necessarily know who it was, were it actually, a used number, but that number, I can usually think of somebody.
So then I said to my wife, so he's one of those cheesy goofballs that puts his own freaking name on his jersey and wears it around.
Yeah. Yeah, I should do what I do and just wait for a crappy Lewis to play for his team and then buy all the game ones.
He wasn't crappy. I actually liked him.
No, I did too. And, he scored a really nice goal in the shootout for LA the other day. And I meant to ask a Kings fan this, and I never really got an answer, but why the hell is he wearing 61 in LA?
I don't know. Do you think the fans know? I don't think they know. Do you think they know?
Well, somebody should know. I don't even know if Trevor Lewis knows, but anyway.
Mate, let's message him. Shit, let's get him on the show.
Yeah. What the hell's with your jersey number, man? It makes no sense. Yeah, it's funny though. I was reading something the other day about how a lot of these. Remember how many teams have those rules? Brian Burke was one of them.
Yeah,
you couldn't wear whatever. I forget what they call, but
an over traditional number.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different terminology for it, but it's kind of ridiculous because those numbers to me can be really cool. I think. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Honestly, if I was in the NHL, what number would you be if you were in the NHL?
74. Because that was Theo Fleury's Olympic number. So he wore.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah. He wore it because Shanahan had 14. I don't know if he lost a coin toss or seniority or what it was, but that number just looked really cool on him. And I actually did wear it for a few years in some rec league hockey.
I always wore 55. I wore through my youth hockey.
Shane O'Brien.
I wore number 5. And then when I played my senior men's days, I was always 55. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a cool number.
Why
did I think of Shane O'Brien before Noah Hanifin? Anyway.
That's really, really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe because you've already written Hanifin off and he's history.
Oh, I think he's going to be moved. Yeah, but he's having a really good year.
He's been really good. I've swore less at him this year than ever before.
So let me ask you a question, because this is something that's been on a lot of people's minds. There's a few topics that have been refusing to go away or getting on there in their intensity. Can we call the Sharangovich trade a win at this point, or is it still too early?
Hell yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, I might have been in Florida, but I watched all the Flames games. I didn't miss
one. Everything the guy does, penalty killing, power play, 5-on-5, he's been fantastic.
You want to make yourself feel better today? Listen to this stat. 11 goals this season. Tkachuk, Gaudreau, together, 10. Good day. Merry Christmas to that one, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, but man, he's just been absolutely dynamite. Connor Zary's continued to be dynamite. But let's get the crappy part.
I got one quick question before we move on. Do you consider him part of the core moving forward?
If he sustains this over the remainder of the season, this level of play, absolutely. Well, it's still a little early. He's a very valuable asset, which he wasn't necessarily to start the season.
I know, and I you know what, when I thought of this question, I thought of the same thing. But you know what? He's been pretty damn consistent for 2+ weeks now. 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I think he's hit his stride as a player and in terms of his role in this team. So I like to think so. The jury's still out. I'll give it another month. If he's still keeping this up in say 4 to 6 weeks, then we'll talk. But he's definitely trending the right way, man. Like, what a great player.
He's fun to watch too. And I don't know. He always has that little like sly smile when he does something good. And I don't know. I like the guy. Not buying a jersey yet, but I like the guy.
I can't imagine you buying a Flame 17 jersey. Wow.
Do you imagine being a 17? I hate that number.
So yeah, let's talk about the crappy stuff first, because it's a holiday edition of the show, and we want to get the bad stuff out of the way. What do we do with Jonathan Huberdeau at this point?
Nothing. Keep doing what we're doing, right? What do you do? I mean,
are you in favor of sitting him for a game or no?
I don't know what that does to a guy that's a veteran. You know what? If I was seeing where I questioned effort or things like that, then it's like, hell yeah, we're gonna bench him.
Yeah. But there's a lot was said this morning about that intense in the Anaheim game. He had that perfect look and he chose to pass, and it's like that to me, he's a great passer, but that was like the epitome of what's wrong with this game. It's like your only option in that play is to shoot that puck.
But how do you fix that? And I don't think a press box fixes that. Maybe it does. I don't know, Kyle. I went back and forth on this one a lot on how to fix Jonathan Huberdeau. And
okay, so people seem to think part of the catalyst to make him better, and to some extent I think it will, is when Peltier comes back. But when Peltier comes back, which is soon, who do you take out of the lineup?
Dylan Dubé. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. He's the most ineffective
think it will
guy.
Be Dubé, though?
Probably
I hope
not.
So too.
It'll probably be Pospisil. I would be pissed. Be pissed.
Really, there's no need to
but
do that,
do you not see that happening?
Probably, much as I hate to.
I'm sorry. Like I have an under 10% chance that Peltier comes back and is effective as Pospisil or Zary.
Oh, it'll take him a couple weeks to get going, but
I don't even think.
I think he will.
You think he will? You think he'll be more effective than those two guys?
Oh, I wouldn't say more effective, but I think he's going to slot right in and be very effective. I mean, this team has had so much luck. They've had so much luck with youth this year. I mean, it's hard to see it going poorly. Although I do think it's, like I said, it's going to take a week or two, because I mean, he missed a good chunk of training camp and all of the season to this point with a pretty serious injury.
We're talking negatives right now. Who are the two guys that are frustrating you the most?
Huberdeau, that's the easy one. And Dubé. I guess the two guys already talked about. Huberdeau because he should be so much more. Dubé because he's like replacement level NHLer at this point. Like he's been terrible, and I'd be okay with it if there were consequences. I mean, there have been some nights he's played less than 10 minutes, like he has been used a lot, but it's like, it's time to come out. You're not contributing. It's time to come out. And that's why so I guess my frustration is maybe more so with the coaching staff. How about you?
I mean, he's like literally, he has played, and I'm not saying he's a first line winger, but he's literally played first line, second line, third line. Now he's on the fourth line and he's ineffective top to bottom. I'm sorry.
Yep. Well, the thing is, it's like if you don't excel at something,
and need to get over the fact that he was a World Juniors hero and move him where he needs to go.
Well, so was Tyler Witherspoon,
Yeah, true.
And like lots of guys are, right? I mean, I'd have to really rack my brain to think of some of them now, I guess. But
I mean,
actually, Justin Pogge, Dustin Tokarski in terms of goaltenders. But yeah, like you got to be really in the NHL. Either you got to be like a Swiss Army knife, like a Mike Sillinger was when he played, Blake Coleman, who can play up and down your lineup. You either going to be a player like that, or you have to be really good at something, whether it's scoring, penalty killing. Yannick Perreault, when he played with faceoffs. Dubé is not really good at anything. He's got good wheels, but he doesn't do anything. So find the niche and learn to excel at it, or come out of the lineup at this point.
How are you handling the Majapani struggles?
Well, there's not much term left in his deal, so it doesn't bother me a lot. So I do think he's a movable piece later in the season. Sorry?
Like I love his work ethic.
Yeah, well, he has games where he's got games where he's effective. He still has a touch around the net, and that's when he's at his best. But
not right now. He doesn't. Ugh.
No, he scored one not long ago, but he doesn't do. He's not hurting the team either. I don't find.
No, I agree with you.
Like, I don't have an issue rolling him out, and he will pot a goal now and again. I mean, he's definitely not what I'd like him to be in terms of a more consistent scorer, but his struggles are overshadowed so much by Dubé being non-existent and Huberdeau being terrible and known league-wide for being terrible. I mean, and I don't mean terrible in terms of just like every shift. I mean, it's not like he's out there just, being terrible off every shift he plays, but like his plus-minus isn't good. He's got way too many giveaways, and he's not creating anything.
Do you feel bad for him? Huberdeau, I'm speaking.
I do, but I'm also getting to the point where it's like, how much longer can I feel bad for a guy that makes that kind of money? And
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. But he's one of those guys I look and it's like, there is not an out factor here. Like, I don't know what other than playing him and hoping by the grace of God that something changes. I mean, if I asked you right now, what would be your Christmas wish for the Flames, since we're days from Christmas? Mm-hmm. Mine is like, I want Huberdeau to be Huberdeau.
Yeah. Or some semblance of it, right? 50% of what he was, which I guess would make him a 50-some point player. Yeah, I mean, that's realistically, that's what any Flames fan should want, because whether it's about the team being more competitive or not, I mean, he's still somebody who's going to be around long term to help, with these younger players and mentor them. Like, he needs to get going no matter what.
Did you know that when he was in Florida, his points per game were 0.91 and his points per game in Calgary are 0.48?
I didn't know that, but it's pretty easy to believe.
You want to know a really scary thing is? His shooting percentage was 12.6 in Florida, and it's 11.0 in Calgary. But he's getting almost a shot less per game.
Wow.
Oh, and here's one that's you really want to okay, but we're going to have to go positive after this. He was plus 41 in Florida. He's minus 12 in Calgary.
Yeah. That's not good.
$84 million. But you know what? I would be so much more upset if I felt like he was like, I hate, okay, horrible example, but I got to say it anyways. If he had the attitude that Kadri had at the beginning of the season, I would be irate.
Mm-hmm. You would.
But he doesn't have that attitude. He comes in with a good attitude. He's busted his ass. I don't know what it is. I've never seen it that I can think of in my life watching, whether it be hockey or any pro sport, a guy fall off a cliff like this. I can't think of it.
Well, and even when you read the articles talking about why he's so successful in Florida, like, it still doesn't make sense, because he was really successful in junior in nearby St. John. Like, he's great. So it's not like the skill just evaporated. It's not like he was a beneficiary of a fantastic system in Florida. I mean, he was to a point, but like,
I am so sick of people saying, "Oh, we got to find the right guy to play with him." I'm sick of it. I don't want to hear that anymore.
No, because it doesn't make any sense. Although it's kind of weird to think about. I mean, the only thing saving that trade at all is Tkachuk's somewhat lackluster play compared to last year, and more so the emergence of Mackenzie Weegar as kind of a dark horse Norris candidate, probably in a better team. Like, he's been really, really good.
Yeah, Weegar's been super, super good. He's had a career.
Thank God he has.
I believe already.
Yeah.
But he's been solid on the back end too. And I mean, he makes that trade okay. Like, he does. He really does. He makes that trade okay.
The trade wouldn't be bad at all if it wasn't for the contract that Huberdeau was given. And again, I'm not a fan. I know it's the market, but I do not believe in giving huge commitments to guys who've never played for you.
I know, but we were all good with it in the beginning.
Well, yeah, because we thought that's the player we're getting. And like you said, we'd never seen anybody fall off a cliff like this ever.
I mean, this is unheard of. Like, I know Trelivin's getting crucified for it and stuff, and it's like, this isn't his fault. Like, who saw this coming?
Yeah, nobody. So it kind of reminds me of Theo Fleury's first season in New York. He scored 15 goals. It was terrible. But then the next year he rebounded, was a point per game until he went into player assistance.
Do you think Huberdeau's doing coke like
No, I don't think so.
Theo is my favorite all-time flame. I mean, I love the guy. I loved his work ethic. So I'm not trying to bash on.
Yeah, there he is, right on your shoulder. It's funny.
Yeah. He was
mine. He was mine too. But yeah, like I don't know. But again, moving on to some positive things. So we'll be talking about Huberdeau every show for the remainder of the season. Hopefully, things. But we got a shutout. You know how I feel about those.
Perfect. What?
Well, Markstrom stats. You know, he's got a little boost now. He doesn't look like a terrible goaltender.
I saw a tweet last night. It's not the X Factor, but I got to read it to you because I thought it was pretty good. What did I do with it here? I saved it. I know I did. It said, that's not it.
So Markstrom is now up to a 906 save percentage and 267 goals against average. That's actually respectable. So hopefully he continues that. All right.
The tweet says this. Is it out of the question that we trade Markstrom during the second intermission? Let's get max value for him.
That must have been a contender for the X Factor this week.
It was a contender. You know, it almost would have got it.
Okay, so credit where it's due. Who tweeted that?
He's a past X Factor, so I couldn't do another one for him right now. But it's Jeff Millar. Remember at Banana Cooler? I remember that. Yeah. But he had another good one, and he was our X Factor probably 3 episodes ago. And
see, we should have coined that phrase though. Can we Mike Camilleri this guy?
I just loved it. I read that and I started laughing.
Oh man,
max value.
That's fantastic.
He's good. He's fun to watch again. Just watching the game last night against Anaheim, I felt so comfortable with him, and I felt super comfortable.
Yeah, and I did too. Real quick, more positive. Nick DeSimone, first NHL goal.
That right there, that brings us to our X Factor. It does.
Wow, okay, for everybody listening and watching, I don't actually know the X Factor when Brad picks it, like beforehand, because we don't talk about it. So.
And now I can't even find my graphic for it. There it is.
What a happy accident this is.
Oh, look at that. As I got Christmas stuff all over, and geez, that's a mess.
29. Yeah. Oh, Shane. Yeah, great dude.
Let me pull up a better graphic here. There. Now we can actually read it. Okay. Shane Flash Stevenson, Connor Zary, poised, no panic, waits for help. Then a perfect pass to DeSimone, who blasts his first career goal at age 29. Never give up on your dreams. 2 parts, and the reason I picked this one, 2 parts. I love the patience of the young rookie.
Yeah.
And then DeSimone scores on a shot where there was literally no traffic either.
None. Yeah.
How that went in is a head shaker.
It didn't look like that hard of a shot to me. I mean, it didn't give me Al McInnes, Michael Stone vibes, but yes, I just used those two in the same sentence. But yeah, also the never give up on your dreams part. It's true. 29. His Instagram was lit this morning, Nick DeSimone. So that was cool.
So can you name Nick DeSimone at 29 years, 30 days is the 4th oldest player to score a Flames goal.
First goal?
First goal, yep. Yeah. Can you name the oldest player who scored at 29 years, 288 days in 1995? If you get this, we're flying to Vegas tonight and drinking all night.
Yeah, we'd have to, because there's no way I'm trying to think of who was on that team.
Pavel Korgiev. Never heard of him.
Pavel Korgiev, didn't even know that.
I'm guessing he didn't. I don't know how the hell I saw it on Twitter.
You know what this gave me vibes of, though, and disagree with me if you will.
By the way, thank you, Shane, for
yeah. Shane's awesome. Shane's a great follow too, and a really good writer with Flames Nation. So yeah, mad shout out for that. Jerome McGinley to Steve Monador, Game 1 of the 2004 Western Conference Final.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. waiting, again, hanging onto the puck. Monitor comes in late. A lot more dramatic, a much nicer shot, one that made sense that it went in. But just that patience. And I find like playing hockey myself, and I started really late. I was 13 years old the first time I put on a pair of skates. It's the patience with the puck that's the hardest thing to learn, because you're always under pressure and you feel the need to get rid of it or to dump it or to look for the easy pass. But to hang on to it in traffic like that poise that Shane was talking about, that's why Zary's been so effective as a Flame, because he's got a great panic threshold.
It is amazing, and it is such a blessing to watch that we have that now. And man, he is growing on me every game as becoming my favorite Flame.
And it's also worth pointing out the like these defensemen. So Dennis Gilbert, Dick DeSimone, like Solovoyov, like they've all stepped up at different points. And in Zadorov's absence since he's been traded, or the injury to Tanev, it's like this D is doing okay. They're not getting their heads beat in. They had a couple rough outings in that last road trip, but I'm impressed by our depth on D. I really am.
I'm shocked by it, because if you look at our depth chart, it's on paper, people would say it's brutal.
Really thought that this D was going to be a serious problem. And even as much as I wasn't a huge fan of Zadorov, some moments, obviously great hits, but after he was traded, I really thought they were going to get their heads beat in on a fairly routine basis, but they've actually been quite good.
Been super impressed with Gilbert.
Yep.
He seems somewhat calm. But DeSimone's been good. The times that we saw the young Sloviov,
and we'll see him again soon.
I thought he was fine. I actually think he's going to be a real good 5'6" defender for this team. I really do.
Yeah, same. He's got all the tools for sure.
Let's go back to Connor Zary. I want to talk about him. He is putting up Calder conversation play numbers. Rookie points, he's 4th at 16. Rookie goals, he's 5th with 7. I mean, he's in the conversations.
It's weird to think how we were all kind of, after Coronado scored against Pittsburgh in that wicked shot, it's like, this is going to be our rookie forward with a scoring impact, and then it turned to be Connor Zary. You ever sit back and think about that?
Yep.
It makes hockey so fun. You can't predict stuff like this, right?
No. And you know what? That just shows, though, that you have to put people in positions to succeed. And the way he came into the lineup, he wasn't like overly pressured and hyped. It was like, all right, he needs to fill his void. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. And he was on a bit of a heater with the Wranglers, which is why he got the chance. But I think, he's a big reason why. I think the Athletic had ranked the Flames the 2nd best drafting team in the league, which is absurd to think about because they were so bad for so long.
We were cemented in the bottom for decades.
Literal decades, from Nicholas Sundblad on up. Like, there's some doozy picks. Leland Irving, Chris Chucko, Matt Pellich, Eric Nystrom. Some of them were serviceable, but Rico Fata. Yeah, Rico Fata, St. John Flames alumni. Daniel Kachuk.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had like a handful of guys, Denny Gauthier, Derek Morris, that kind of, they panned out really well, had really good NHL careers, but man, there was,
it was just
yeah, real bad.
Do you know that points per game? He's at 0.74 and Bedard's at 0.86. He's second. He ranks 2nd above that.
How many more games has Bedard played than Zary? Must be 10.
Probably about 10.
Yeah. Crazy. That's just crazy, man. Like, good for him. Like, what a great story that's been.
What are your thoughts on? Did you see Coleman's comments about last year's team, the change from last year to this year?
Yes, actually I did. I don't remember entirely how he phrased it, but yeah, I read them a few days ago.
It didn't surprise me at all.
No, it wasn't surprising. I was a little surprised to hear it come up again, I guess.
I know, I'm sick of it. I don't even know why I brought it up again.
Well, because there was some residual issues that we saw all through the fall, which is why I think the team is starting to play better, is that they're starting to put that stuff behind them, right? In terms of, the negative chatter around the team and, what Backlund had to say about that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's been a really, really weird few seasons, and we always go back to the 2022 playoffs when the Flames lost Edmonton and like how much hype there was going into that series. And it's very much been a team in transition. We still don't really know what we are. Like, beating the Ducks handily like they did, and the Ducks are a bottom feeding team with a lot of injuries too. Let's not forget that. Chief amongst them being Trevor Zegras, but like Calgary's not a great hockey team to this point, but they're not terrible, but they're not mediocre in the way they typically have been because there's a lot more potential because of all the young players. So it's like
we are directionless.
But I think the direction has started to become a little bit clear. Hopefully. I don't know. But like I said this the other day, like if Huberdeau could get going just a little bit, like what they're lacking is high-end, impactful skill. They're getting quite a lot of from guys like Connor Zary, but if Lindholm had more games like he had last night, Huberdeau could just be 70% the player he was, which I guess would make him about a 70-point player. This is a playoff team. No question.
Yeah. We could be a playoff team the way we are right now. I mean, last night's win over Anaheim was a third straight for Calgary. They have points in their last 5 games. They had a couple losses in there that really shouldn't have been losses. I mean, we led in the Calgary Colorado game. We in the Vegas game we led. I mean, we went through a gauntlet here of tough opponents and came out smelling like roses, really. So I always judge up how I feel getting ready to watch one of their games.
Yeah,
I'm excited again. I'm excited to watch these young guys, not just because they're young, but because they are being successful. I've been excited to watch Kadri play lately. He's been really, really good. Sharangovich is a great story. Markstrom looks like he's back on his game. Records his first shutout last night. There's a lot going for this team right now.
Yeah, Coleman's probably having his best year in the league, I would say. Mackenzie Weegar's having a career year. Noah Hannafin could be having a career year.
We got AJ Greer too. He scored 5 goals in 61 games for Boston last year.
He's got 6.
And he's got 6 now.
And that empty net goal was like, yeah, it's an empty netter, but like he was determined to finish that game off.
Yes.
He's been great.
Wasn't your empty netter from the red line. There was a play that was made there.
Yep. And kudos to Lindholm for making it happen. But yeah. Greer's been one of the best fourth liners in the league, and I don't think that's up for debate.
So do you sign him or do you move him for assets?
I'd like to sign him because he'd be cheap and he's a great guy to keep around. But a guy like that with the season he's having could fetch a pretty good return. So I'm going to lean towards trading him. How about you?
I don't know. I'll go back and forth.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those, it's a tough one. I guess I would love to have him back, but if the the return was good, I'd be all for it. And I've already heard rumblings that Boston wants him back. So
I'm sure they do. They want to lose him in the first place. There was somebody else emerged. Yeah. Somebody younger in a very similar role. I forget who it was, emerged in Boston, which made him expendable. Although now I think they're thinking, hey, he wasn't really that expendable.
I would be okay if we got a decent return because I just feel like Walker Duehr just needs some ice time. I'm not giving up on that guy yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up on him either. I mean, he certainly has a zero opportunity of late to prove himself. So something's got to give sooner or later. And to be honest with you, I kind of forgot about Walker Duehr until you said his name because he's played so little.
I don't like his game this year like I liked it last year. I don't think he's been as fast like north and south. But I'm not giving up on him. I mean, we just really haven't got a fair shake this year of time with him.
You would think he'd draw in on an upcoming back-to-back, but with Pelche nearing a return, it might be harder for him to get in the lineup.
So his spot right now is being taken by Dylan Dubé on the 4th line. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that.
No, I'm not okay with that either, And I'm not, and I hate to say it, Adam Ruzicka is being very Adam Ruzicka like too.
Yeah, well, somebody was saying the other day, and it's a bang on evaluation. Ruzicka got to take a page out of Martin Pospisil's book. It's a big body. Start using it. Make some room.
He can't. I'm convinced the dude can't play that way. He just can't do it.
No, it doesn't seem.
He just does not have that. to get in there and that grit and grind you need just to make stuff happen and make plays happen. He doesn't have it. It's like he waits for everything to come to him. And I felt bad. He banged a good shot in the slot off the post last night early on. He hasn't scored since freaking November 4th or 24th or something like that. And it's like, when you're struggling, you got to make stuff happen. And he does not go out and change his work ethic at all to make stuff happen. Last year we put him on or maybe it was early this year even. We had him on the second line. He's producing points and stuff. And then he starts his play falls off and he moves down the lineup. And instead of going out with grit and anger to get back up in the lineup, he just floats. And I can't take it anymore. It's getting frustrating because I look at his body, I look at his frame, I look at his shot, and it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Put these things together and make something happen, would you? If you had the work ethic of an AJ Greer, this would be a much different conversation.
Oh shoot.
But that's always been the knock against him.
Pay him $6 million.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? Man.
So what the heck's going on with this team shorthanded wise, huh? What do we got? 8 goals shorthanded?
That must lead the league, right? Has to.
It's tied. It's tied for the lead league with St. Louis.
Really? St. Louis, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I know Backlund, Sharangovich, Coleman, they have great penalty killers.
Sharangovich almost had a breakaway last night and almost made it 9. We'd have had the league lead by ourselves.
I think we will. Again, rolling these guys out. They're fantastic.
I saw a stat, and I don't have it in front of me right now, so I can't read it to you exactly, but our shorthanded, we're a penalty kill has more goals than our power play.
I was just going to ask if we did. It's not surprising. It's
and I don't know for the year, but in the last month, I know for a fact that we have more shorthanded goals than power play goals. Although we did get one.
For the year, I don't think so. But what was the stat today? It's like so and so is tied with so and so for the team leading power play goals with 2.
Oh, yeah. Last night Lindholm's goal was a power play goal, and it was his second power play goal of the year, and he leads the team in power play goals.
That's atrocious. But again, that's that lack of high-end skill. That's where a guy like Huberdeau should be driving the bus.
Though, I look at our power play, and as crappy as it's been, I feel like our zone entry is fine. I feel like our puck control is fine. I don't know. I think we've been I'm not making excuses for him, but I think we've been a tad bit unlucky.
Yeah, but it's also that, again, it's a lack of high-end finish. You haven't got, Kucherov or Stamkos or Ovechkin. Well, not so much Ovechkin this year, but I mean, like, there's just, it's I don't want to say it's one missing piece, but it kind of is. You need a dynamic player, Nathan McKinnon, like somebody who can finish in the power play, who can dish in the power play. And like, we don't really have that. It's all by committee, and committees don't make power plays run. Connor McDavid's make power plays run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, no, we need yeah. Sharangovich looks like our most lethal power play guy right now.
He is.
Although I liked Kadri out there too lately. Boy, he's been working his ass off.
He's been really, really good. Full marks to him. He's having a really good season.
I keep bringing up. I feel like I bring up the past a lot on this episode. But what were your thoughts on Jack Eichel's comments this week?
I didn't hear them.
I can't remember what podcast, and that's really bad of me because if it was said on our podcast, I'd want it referenced. But I can't remember what podcast it was on.
We've had a lot of sun this week. We'll let it slide.
Yeah. He confirmed that when he was selecting his teams, that his final 2 teams to choose from were the Calgary Flames and the Vegas Golden Knights.
He said that? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Twitter kind of went crazy and was bashing Treliving for not making it happen. And I'm like, well, wait a second. Treliving didn't have the final decision. Jack Eichel did. And what would we have had to give up for Jack Eichel? And Jack Eichel sucked for the first year he went to Vegas. Well, we'd have been pissed.
I don't give a shit about revisionist history when it comes to trades. I really don't. I mean, sometimes it's fun. Like if you talk about what would have happened if the Rangers trade for Eric Lindros had been accepted instead of the Flyers when that whole thing happened. Yeah. Like that's kind of cool to think about. But like Jack Eichel's a Calgary Flame, and it's like, yeah, we would have had an all-star potential superstar center, which would have been cool. But I don't think the team's going to be any further ahead for it at all, actually.
Think about this one, though, Kyle. So Eichel went to Vegas and struggled miserably for, I believe, the whole first season. And now he's turned it around and turned into a very, very, very good player.
Yeah.
Is this something that Huberdeau can figure out?
Well, he's older. And as a winger, I think he doesn't have. That's hard to answer. That's a really great question, actually. To a point, yes. And I always think about guys. This is a kind of extreme example, but like again, Eric Stahl, having kind of a career resurgence. Huberdeau is going to have something of one at some point somehow, but it's so hard to see right now because we keep seeing the same thing: the not shooting, the giveaways, the ineffective board play, which has always been his bread and butter. Like maybe the holidays will help him. Peltier's return, like we've talked about, will help. Like all these things can help to some extent, but like he's got to figure it out. And I
don't think there's a quick fix.
No, oh God, no, not at all. But I think the culture shock of that trade, because you got to remember, he never wanted to leave Florida.
No,
he was thinking extension. He'd been there for years, huge part of that community, and he's a fiercely loyal guy. Like to this day, his Twitter account still references the St. John Sea Dogs, and the Sea Dogs are known in some circles to not be the best managed junior hockey franchise, right? So, fiercely loyal guy. So the shock of going from, first of all, no state tax in Florida and the sun all the time on the water and the beach, to Calgary, at that point in your career, when you're thinking extension, like it would have made more sense for him to stay east and go to, as a French Canadian, go somewhere like Montreal, right? But to go to Calgary and Western Canada, like you can't come up with a bigger geographic, personal, cultural shift in the game of hockey than where he went to where he is. So, but it's been over a full season. Something's got to give. And I like to think maybe it's a New Year's resolution or some bullshit like that. Like he's going to turn it around to some point. But I mean, if we get 60 points from him this year, man, that would be an epic victory. If we get the 42, it looks like we're going to get epic disappointment. So
I'm just sick of the Huberdeau excuses. And he's not giving excuses. I'm
the rhetoric's tiring though. I got to be better.
Yeah.
I got to do this. I got to do that. I know I have it in me. Like I don't want to hear it anymore.
But I don't know what I want him to say. I don't know if I want to hear what he truly feels inside, because it's probably pretty scary. He's probably at a pretty low point in his life right now.
It's one of those things that you're not going to know until years later if he ends up playing somewhere else, or if he ever releases an autobiography and he can really talk about, because the stories that come out years later, like in a Doug Gilmour's book, or even Ted Nolan's, like there's so many things we never know the full extent of. And someday we're going to hear about this. Maybe it's an article in The Athletic to say, I was struggling with this in my life, or, my wife and I were going through a hard time, whatever it is. I don't want to put anything out there because God knows, but like, it's got to come out eventually. There's something, because he's way too talented to be performing this poorly. He knows it. You know it. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's just hope that's our Christmas wish, right?
Well, what more can you wish for, right? I mean, returns in terms of trades. The team's now 500. Keep winning. I don't know. That's
before we go here, I got one quick thought. I was talking about today at work. I was talking about football, and we were talking about the Minnesota Vikings and how, do they scrap the rest of the season and just try to improve their draft pick, or go hard and try to at least just get a playoff spot so you at least get one playoff game and the fun for the fans and the owner getting money. And the guy was talking to me in a really strong point. He's like, well, this team can't, there's too many teams below them to just tank and get a pick that's going to be great. You're going to get a 10 at the best. And if we go and try to make the playoffs, we're going to get a 15.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the Flames sit right now too. It's like, we're not going to, we can't tank down to Anaheim and San Jose. So we're going to be in the mucky middle either way. So let's be in the mucky middle and at least get a playoff round out of this, right? Because that's experience for these young players.
Mm-hmm. Any
way you cut it, any playoff game is good experience. And we're going to need that if we continue to keep plugging in better pieces and letting this new youthful Flames grow into where they're going to be, and hopefully be a strong playoff contender in 2-3 years, right?
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the hope. And yeah, much like the 15 version of Flames, like that playoff experience for guys like Connor Zary would be invaluable. Yeah. And we both know this team's too competitive and has too many good pieces to finish, like you said, like a San Jose is expected to, or even Chicago. So, missing the playoffs and getting a middling pick, or making the playoffs and getting a middling pick, I'll take the latter all day, every day.
Me too. So I'm cheering for this team, and I like what I see.
And there's always upsets. I mean, who knows, right?
I like a lot what I've seen, and the Flames continue that quest for the playoffs on Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, as they travel to Los Angeles to take on the Kings, and then Wednesday, Seattle comes to the Dome for a post-Christmas divisional battle.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, I guess we're not going to be doing this again until after Christmas. So,
yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, Yeah.
I hope everybody relaxes during the holidays, spends some time with family and friends, and is safe and enjoys the Flames hockey that we have ahead of us.
And the World Juniors starting in a few days. There's lots of hockey to enjoy. This is the only, in the industry that you and I are in too, Brad, in terms of, construction supply and all that, this is the only time of year that we really get to unplug, fully, for a few days here and there, and try to make the most of it, right?
Yeah, this whole month I've not worked a whole lot. I've watched a lot of hockey, spent some time with my family, and I'm going to enjoy the holidays with my family and friends, and watch some more Flames hockey. And
that's the plan, man.
We are back before New Year's. We'll be have a December 29th release show, and we'll be back talking more Flames hockey. And as down as the season started, we probably got a lot to be thankful for when you really look at it, because it could have went a whole lot worse. So
should have
keep our heads. Probably should keep our heads up and smiles on our face if you're a Flames fan, because it's fun seeing these young guys do well. Watching Markstrom get that shutout last night, it was fun. We got some things going for us.
Absolutely, a lot in goaltending depth being one of them. So yeah, we'll see what the next few weeks bring. We're getting into the nitty gritty of the season now, right? And actually, Nick Kippersoft retirement game to look forward to in March as well.
All right, Flames fans, have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas, and we'll be back before the new year.
Can't wait.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.